How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Spending Pineco's money like crazy. It's that time of year. Lots of computers, lots of
Yeah.
hardware. Family wise, we're doing pretty good. The last football game is coming up, so that means I only
Yes.
have 2 more mornings of getting up at 5:30, which is a huge win.
Yeah.
So looking forward to kind of wrapping that up and then transitioning to not having to get up till probably at least 6. So I will enjoy that extra 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So
I mean, yeah, that's when I get up too.
yes. Yes.
Um,
So, but other than that, yeah, we're doing good. I mean, we are blessed with far more than we deserve. That's for sure.
yeah. No, I'm right there with you. Definitely. Hey, what are you drinking?
Oh, I have a new one, and no, it's not a Russian Imperial Stout.
Thank you. Thank you very
Not
much.
doing that again. This is from Celbrator, Celebrator. This is the finest Bavarian double bock.
Okay.
From the Ayinger Brewery.
Which is where?
That's a good question because I actually haven't.
I've never even heard of that.
I haven't either.
That's not weird now. I mean, there's so many breweries.
Okay, where are you? This is from Tacoma, Washington, but it's imported. So where's the real people at? You even say on here? Just from Ayinger, Germany. That's all it says.
Okay. So it's
Okay.
like it is an
actual German beer. It's
an
imported.
actual German beer.
Yes.
I almost got some Weihenstephaner, which is one of my favorites from that area.
Okay. Well, I will hit the blurb and then we'll let you run through yours.
Yeah.
Dark, malty, and rich. And I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's Ayinger, so Ayinger. I'm sure the German people will, stupid American. At the foot of the Bavarian Alps is one of the world's most respected breweries, family owned and operated since 1878.
Ooh.
And that's all they got.
That's pretty good.
But there's the bottle with the label with the two goats.
Oh, yeah. Celbrator.
Yeah.
Celbrator.
So what are you drinking?
Celbrator. Okay, so I don't know. We're going to have to...
You loaded up.
Look through these and figure out. So I got a bunch of cans and I kind of went Oktoberfest on... There's 4 Oktoberfests and basically... or that I got. So I got an old chub just in case.
Okay, yeah.
And also a reasonably corrupt. Just in case. I've had both of those and they're delicious. So
okay.
I have that just in case. But I got the St. Arnold Oktoberfest.
Okay.
I got the East Texas Brewing Company. Sorry, East Texas Brewing Company Oktoberfest.
Okay, yep.
I got the Real Ale Brewing Company Oktoberfest.
Okay, yeah, I had one either last show or the show before from them.
Yeah, no, they've got a bunch of good ones. They're from Fort Worth, I think. Where's the Real Ale is? Oh my gosh, I really do think that they're pretty close to us. Blanco, Texas.
Yes.
So there you go. And then this one, which I had never heard of before, from the Athletic Brewing Company. They had a few from there, and this is the Oktoberfest Fest Brew.
Okay. Well, I have to admit,
this is a non-alcoholic brew.
Oh, so
I'm gonna go throw that across the parking lot.
I won't hold that one against you.
Wow, I didn't even realize. It's called Near Beer, contains less than 0.5% alcohol by volume.
Okay.
Listen, guys, we're not trying to get drunk here, but like, what is that?
What?
Okay, no, I'm not drinking that. But I've got these other 3 that I can choose from to try. Do you have a vote?
Just choose an Oktoberfest.
Yeah. I'm gonna try the St. Arnold.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I had a St. Arnold, but St. Arnold used to have they used to have a beer called Texas Wheat that was my favorite beer there for a while, and then they stopped making it. So this is Texas' oldest craft brewery. St. Arnold is. I don't know if I knew that. It's brewed for the fall, full-bodied and malty. It doesn't have anything else to say about it, though.
Okay. So it looks like last show
6.6.
that Commissar was a real ale brewery.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. I'm going to open them up.
I mean, I'm not actually like I love drinking out of a bottle. I would rather drink out of a bottle than a can. But the snap on the cans that's pretty refreshing.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's nice. Oh my gosh. No, that's really good.
A little bit of a delay and you got hit?
Well, it's one of those. I wanted to make sure because we've been bit by the Russians recently. I wanted to make sure that there wasn't something funny that was coming later on. But
yeah,
fully endorse St. Arnold, their Oktoberfest, if you can still get it, because
tomorrow's the last
Friday is November.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've waited too long to find this beer, but maybe they'll make it again next year.
Perhaps. But I would say that mine tastes like a Bock.
Well, there you go.
It's good.
Well
very
done.
Similar to a Shiner Bock. Well done,
those,
Germans.
Yeah, those Bocks did come from that area.
Yes,
from those mountains, they traveled to Texas and
Hill Country.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them down there.
Yeah, there is.
Anyway, they brought their box and their kolaches. Anyway. Yes. Hey, man, what are we talking about today?
More Unify. So kind of keeping that going.
Yeah, we got to get the 7-layer burrito out for this one, though.
Parts of it, yes, absolutely. Maybe we'll find out if any other people are listening. We keep doing this series.
Mm-hmm.
We do. I guess you'll have to work on getting some of this out into the Socimeeds.
The Socimeeds. We have made it onto Facebook.
Together. Yes, Facebook.
We have not quite made it onto Instagram because they hate us.
Apparently, yes. Something about
I don't understand what happened.
Or both.
They did not like that.
Yep. And you're going to get us on the Dirty Bird?
Yes. Absolutely. It's going to happen.
Yes.
It doesn't take long, but when you run into something that is like, hey, you should try again tomorrow, that's not a great look for a tech company.
No.
Just
Instagram's
saying it. They're meta.
So. But thankfully,
you can look for us on.
Go ahead.
Sorry. You can look for us on the social medias. We're, Beer and Gear.
Yeah.
It'll be something like that, or Beer and Gear podcast, or something like that.
And you get to handle all the social media because I don't do it.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you.
Yes. Hey, I tried to hand it off to my daughter, but she said no.
Deference. Yeah. What is that? I mean, she should definitely be doing this.
That's what I thought, but she wants her own. She's like, well, Dad, I don't want to do it for your show. I want my own.
No, you can't have it, babe. Sorry.
But this is your opportunity to show that you can be responsible with it.
Yeah.
And we can build from there. And she's like, no, I want my own.
Okay. Well, I guess you're going to be 18.
Yeah. That, if not older. So Garrett didn't get his until 19. We waited for him to graduate high school, so she needs to be careful. We'll get her that way too.
Wow.
Yeah. Hopefully he's a better person because of it. So, all right. Unify. We're going to be talking Unify switches tonight, folks. They have far too many to cover it the way we did gateways. So we're going to handle them by series, and we may pick out a handful across the series to kind of talk about some specific use cases or things that we particularly like, because there are some of these that we have some personal exposure to. So we'll start out with their standard line. And it really is just that. It's just kind of the entry level, no frills, but it is a business class switch. For the Cody Wilhites of the world who want to put their switches in their specific places in their homes and they don't want to hear noise, these are the way to go because they're fanless.
Fanless.
But
let me tell you what, you got to be careful because you can put them in different places. They just got to be ventilated.
Yeah, you got to keep it cooled. But if you want it quiet,
you're going to run into a black magic situation real quick.
Oh, I'm not going to go down that road. So, but fanless is nice. You can get it in a 16, 24, or 48 port version, which is kind of standard. They have both PoE and non-PoE versions, depending on what you need. On the PoE side, you can go up to 195 watts. Of course, that higher end is obviously going to be the 48 port version. All 1 gig copper ports and 1 gig SFP. They have up to 104 gigs of switching capacity. Layer 2 only. Getting into some of the burrito. So that's MAC addresses all day long. Not IP addresses, which are layer 3.
Yeah, MAC addresses.
Correct, MAC. And then they can be deployed and running in less than 10 minutes. And I would say MAC, not to be confused with mac and cheese.
I want to make sure that we're not confusing it with anything else. It's Correct. Called a MAC address.
It is a MAC address. Yes, yes. So that's kind of the standard line. I really don't know if there's any in that one that I'm, just kind of
super thrilled about.
We need to talk about that particular model.
Yeah, no, it is very capable for what it does, but it's not doing anything extra.
Correct. And I feel like in my setup, I have the standard 24 port PoE. I didn't need it just because my gateway does have the Ethernet ports with PoE, but I wanted a dedicated switch and it was affordable, and that's what I went with. I would have loved to have paid for one of the upper lines, but I'm broke like everybody else.
Yeah.
So from there, jump up to the.
Yeah. Everything costs more right now. What do you want from me?
Yeah. And I hear the old jingle in my head. Oh, thanks, Obama. And he didn't have anything to do with it this time.
Nope.
Okay, so from there we will hop up to their professional. This is getting really kind of more into that business class level of performance. Tons of PoE at this spot. Again, 16 port, 24 port, 48 port versions. You can get PoE Plus, and a couple have PoE Plus Plus if you've really got some higher end, newer devices that are really hungry for that power. PoE Plus Plus is going to take you up to 60 watts. PoE Plus is 30, and standard PoE is 15.4 watts. In this particular line, you can get up to 600 watts of PoE. Again, that varies based on the model. They do have some non-PoE versions in here as well. Again, these are going to be all 1 gig copper ports, but you will get 10 gig SFP plus ports. So you can get a little bit heavier on the backbone if you have the luxury of 10 gig. These are going to go up to 176 gigs of switching capacity. These are going to be capable of layer 2 and layer 3, which is nice. So again, as we said, layer 2 is MAC address, physical address of your network card, as well as layer 3, which is going to be your IP address. So it can do some of that routing at the layer 3. And if you're using Unify, that's nice because you can offload some of that routing off of your gateway and let it have performance to steal back for other things. This does also introduce power redundancy or redundant power supplies. They call it power backup. That's kind of a nice feature. And then this also introduces their augmented reality management with the Unify mobile app. That is actually, when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be more gimmick. But after kind of seeing what it's capable of, that's actually kind of nice. That you can open it up, flip into that mode, hover over the switch, and you can actually see information about ports and what's going on. I don't know if you've used that any yourself or not, John.
I haven't, but I mean, what a great tool, or
Real briefly, want to get into the power backup, just to kind of explain what that is.
We talked about that and how important that was when we were talking about the oh my gosh,
some of the higher end gateways.
I almost said firewall. The higher end gateways and the importance of power backup. But I don't. We didn't really talk about why that's important, and I feel like that's power redundancy, power backup, incredibly important.
Yes.
Go.
So in the traditional switching world, you would actually have two physical power supplies in the unit, and one of those would be the failover. What they've opted for is this is actually a separate rack mount piece that would serve as the second power supply for your devices. So this is a 1U unit. Again, plugs into the network so you can manage it and kind of see what's going on. And then you've got, looks like 6 total ports where you could run power out to other devices, whether that's a switch, whether that's the gateway, or whatever it may be that has this capability. So if your internal power supply did fail, it would fail over to this and you would keep running. So it's kind of an interesting way to kind of consolidate that into a single device versus having a bunch of power supplies spread across all of your switches. So I guess I did not think it was important enough to see the price of the power backup.
Hold on. Okay, don't hold on. That's gonna take you too long.
Oh, there it is, $399.
Worth it. I'm telling you, it only takes one time, and then you're like, "No, not making that mistake again."
Correct. Yeah, and so that gives you, just if anybody's wondering, that's up to 950 watts of redundant power out of that 1U piece of equipment. So, and then again in this line, I think the power piece was the bigger thing to talk about. There's not necessarily a specific switch in this line that's like, ooh, we should really dig deep into that, because again, pretty much standard stuff going on, but a ton of PoE, and again, some increased performance in introducing layer 3 capability. And from there, we can move up into their Pro series. This is where, again, the Apple is coming out of them, because it's not just the Pro series, it's the Pro Max. So,
I mean, got to throw in that Pro Max.
Pro Max, yes. I'm waiting for the Pro Ultra line. I'm sure that will eventually come along.
Pro Ultra Max.
Yeah, that too. So,
Pro Max Ultra.
Pro Max Ultra.
Pro Giga Max Ultra.
Yes. Okay,
let's just start throwing words at it.
These are, These are the best switches. They're the greatest switches ever. You're gonna
Listen,
love these switches.
It's election season. You can't be doing stuff like that.
Hey, I didn't say I'm endorsing anybody.
I know you're not endorsing anybody. I'm saying we can't do that, or somebody's going to say something stupid.
Okay.
Anyway,
it's late, but trigger warning.
I don't know when you're listening to this.
Yes.
Sorry, my beer went down the wrong pipe.
Yep. Well, better that than all that nasty bitter.
Oh yeah, no, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay, so again, this is really kind of stepping it up into higher end business class. This is going to introduce 2.5 gig multi-gig ports, which is amazing if you're doing Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 7. Again, the standard 16, 24, and 48 ports. Tons of PoE, PoE, PoE plus, PoE plus plus. You're going to get up to 720 watts of PoE, which is a lot of PoE.
I mean, what exactly are you? I mean, at 48 ports, if you're running PoE on, if you're running PoE on 48 ports, yeah, no,
I mean, this is going to be, you don't just simply have access points. You're going to be running a ton of phones.
Yeah.
And again, if you're running some of the Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 7, there are some of those out there from other vendors that do actually require the PoE++. So you're going to go ahead and for each one of those, you're going to just go ahead and say, hey, that's essentially going to be 60 watts
over 60
per each of those. So if you've got a ton of those, it doesn't take long to chew up 720.
It's still a lot.
Oh, it is. It's a ton. But again, you could slap a pant load of phones onto this if you wanted. Again, britches. There you go. Trousers. Like we said,
would you say I had a plethora?
A plethora of pinatas? We're gonna get copyright stricken for that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's it's too short of. Never mind. It's fine.
Yes. So, like we said, 1 and 2.5 gig multi-gig ports. You're gonna get these are also going to have the 10 gig SFP plus ports. Wow. You're going to step up to 224 gigs of switching capacity, layer 2 and layer 3. This also is going to bring in power redundancy with a power backup solution. This next feature, when I initially saw it, I was like, oh,
wait, I want to run back to power real quick just so we can say this out loud. When we were talking about PoE plus and plugging in, especially phones, because phones I could actually look up on their site. Their Max, which is their biggest phone, the one that would draw the most power, it needs PoE plus. It's still only drawing 15 watts. So
it's 15 watts, but they're rating it. I guess it could potentially peak over and need more than 15. So
I think it's one of those like let's not just rely on anyway. So I'm saying,
okay,
it's a lot.
It is. It's a ton.
Just throwing it out there.
Okay, so the next thing on the list is their what they call ether lighting. When it first came out, it was like, oh, that's a sales gimmick. I don't need that. But after doing some digging, there actually could be some good use cases here. You can have different color lights on the ports, and that could indicate the specific VLAN or port speeds.
Yeah, and I will tell you the number of times that I've been like, oh, I can't remember what VLAN that is. If it was a light, that would be so helpful.
Yep. The light would definitely say, hey, this is on this specific VLAN. Of course, you need to know what the colors mean. But again, when you team that with the augmented reality in the mobile app, it all kind of works seamlessly together. Kind of like they planned it.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like they had a plan and they executed the plan.
Correct.
That's never the case, though. This is total coincidence.
Correct. And so even on the 16-port model, you're still going to get some 2.5 gig far as the multi-gig ports. So it's not like you have to buy the higher end 24 or the 48. No, they're not all going to be 2.5 gig. I think you're going to get 4 that are 2.5 gig and then 12 that are just 1 gig. But again, it's kind of early enough that most people don't need a ton of multi-gig. Primarily, you would be putting those into access points, Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 7, so you can push more bandwidth to the access point. Obviously, you're still going to be hamstrung by your internet connection, but you are giving your access point its best opportunity to perform at peak performance. So, let's see. On the 24 port, you get to step up to 8 2.5 gig, and on the 48 port, you actually get 16 2.5 gig. So that's not bad.
Not bad at all. I mean, it's more. What is that? 60%, 60. Anyway.
Yep, it's a ton.
It's a ton.
So, and again, all of these crazy easy adoption into your controller, whatever you're using, if it's the gateway, Cloud Key, or even their cloud-based piece.
Yeah, I cannot say enough good things about how easy it is to just drop one of their pieces into a system. This is one of those, like, it's a great conversation to have about how specific and kind of planned out you need to be in nowadays in creating the physical infrastructure of your network. Because if you try to, like, I'm just going to go grab the closest thing, like we don't have a dealer in Tyler that sells
real equipment.
This type of equipment. I'm not going to say any big stores or anything like that, but we have some stores in Tyler that have some technology equipment, and I'm saying, like, if that's where you are, then you need to be very, very careful about how you piece together a system.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to, like, it doesn't necessarily have to do with, like, there are pieces that work together from all these different manufacturers. Again, like, there's a lot of, you just configure it correctly and you'll be fine. But you lose so much, so many of the features, like, just by not, by trying to be either cheap or trying to be hodgepodge or trying to be, like, whatever the thing that, like, says, oh, I just need to go grab this thing and I'm going to band-aid this with that, and then you leave it that way. I know that's tempting, but you got to avoid that.
Yep.
Like, there really does need to be a plan for, this is what we're going to do.
Correct.
Now, luckily we have Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Not too far away from Tyler. Yeah, Micro Center is. Hey, Micro Center, if you want to show some love,
sponsor.
That place is awesome. Like, I walked in and I immediately texted Kris and was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing."
Yep.
I'm just saying, if you want to spread to Tyler, I could totally be a general manager.
Well, with them being as far away as they are, it turns into team building exercise.
Right. No, absolutely. And team building trips are awesome. So
yes.
grab your IT friends and go spend a couple hours in that store just walking around with your jaw on the ground.
Don't bring in your wallets.
Oh, unless you have a company card. Nope.
Yep. And kind of back to your point, if you're buying anything local, you're going to get Linksys, D-Link, Netgear, and you might find some that are managed. But you're going to have to manage those individually. There is no ease of configuring something and then pushing it on to other devices. And if you're small enough, yeah, you can get away with that for a while. But eventually, you could outgrow that quickly.
I just want to reiterate to everybody: you would need to be on premise for that. There's no doing this.
No, there's no remote management unless you have the luxury of doing a remote VPN.
Which they're not going to set up for you.
No.
And Ubiquity will.
Yeah, they will. Crazy easy.
I'm just saying. That reminds me, I need to ask you a work question after this.
Okay. We can do that.
That's what we do. This is the fun.
I love my truck and I love what I do.
Good job.
Okay, so from there, unless you had something else.
No, I didn't. That's great.
Okay. From there, we hop up to Enterprise.
These are the
these are the high-end guys, but I have to, I'm sorry, Unify, Ubiquity, I got to put a slight caveat here. I'm not saying it's not Enterprise, but it's Enterprise, just not quite. And I say that not because of performance. Performance is off the charts.
Enterprise adjacent.
Yes. And you'll understand here in a second when we start talking PoE.
Yeah. Again with the PoE.
Isn't that? Well, now even I'm sitting here going, did
you read that right?
What did I miss? There was something. Oh, I have a typo in my notes. That's what it is. There you go. Now
I was like, wait a minute.
Sense. I'm sitting there going, well, if it's got that, then why am I saying? So here we go. Yeah. So we're going to say Enterprise adjacent. And that doesn't mean that they don't have something planned to come back and refresh this, because I get that the Pro Max is newer than the Enterprise, some of the Enterprise line.
Yeah, and that's always the catch there, is that like this may be coming. Yeah. They just didn't update. They're definitely selling more of the Pro Max than they are the Enterprise. Go ahead.
Correct. So again, your standard 16, 24, 48 port. Although they do kind of on their site, they lump in an 8 port. We'll get to that in a minute. The real caveat to this is the PoE. You get PoE, you get PoE plus, but not the plus plus. So you can't hit the 60 watts like you can with the Pro Max. And again, for most people, this probably wouldn't matter. But if you really were trying to push some of the higher end Wi-Fi 6E, Wi-Fi 7, especially Unify, Cisco, I'm looking at you. You're going to need up to 60 watts of PoE on that port.
I'm going to send you something in the chat real quick for you to look at this same Unify page that I'm looking at, because if you go to the UI.com switching page, if you go to Enterprise and go to high capacity, not only does it say that it has PoE plus, not only does it say that it has PoE plus plus, it says that it has PoE plus plus plus.
Well, let's see, because unless something has changed since a few days ago when I created this. So when I go,
say up to.
Oh, well, look at that.
There may be like one.
So that is a new.
There's the Enterprise Campus 48 and Enterprise Campus 24. So they just updated. This is great.
Just updated.
Breaking news, guys.
Breaking news.
They just updated this in between when we did the show notes originally, and right now, Enterprise Campus 48 PoE and 24 PoE have plus
up to 90 watts. In the Cisco world and some of the others, you'll hear that referred to as UPoE or Universal PoE.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's not even available until December.
I shared the show notes with you. Was it Friday or Saturday?
Saturday. I don't think it was Friday.
Okay. And these did not exist. So I guess I gotta take it back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the 48 port Enterprise Campus 48 PoE has 2,150 watts.
That's a ton.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
So,
Well, like we said, they totally, what they did was they updated the Professional Max, the Pro Max first.
yeah, they did.
But they have come back, like we said that they might, and they have updated the Enterprise, and boy, did they ever!
Okay, so I am
Wow, that's
updating
kind of
show notes on the fly
throwing mine.
because I'll have these in there. What else have they? Okay, so Enterprise is Enterprise. Maybe you could argue the older 24 and 48 are Enterprise adjacent because those are a PoE plus.
Yeah.
So to refresh it, now you have up to 2150 watts of PoE if you hit the Campus series. You're gonna have,
if you want the Enterprise Campus aggregation, like that's got serious speed, but it doesn't have PoE.
oh, they added a new aggregation switch.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Yes.
So
yes,
they've got
they
two.
did.
They've got high capacity aggregation and they've
Oh.
got Enterprise Campus aggregation.
Look at
And
that.
that is an insane speed.
Okay.
The
so
uplink speed is 100 gigs per second.
I am updating all of this on the fly as we're going. Wow. Okay.
Those
there you
have the
go.
ether lighting and the Pro AV support. I think they had to
Correct.
do the Pro AV support because that was after their original
Correct. And
Enterprise.
the previous Enterprise did not have ether lighting.
Yeah.
So I will
They
add
got that
that.
now.
I will add that as well because I had it as no ether lighting.
Nope. It's on there.
Okay.
They did it.
All right. So
I'm telling you. Wow.
All right.
Look at that.
That's crazy. Enterprise, you're going to get up to 10 gig on some of your copper ports.
Yeah.
You'll have 10 gig SFP plus. You'll also have 25 gig SFP 28. So you can really push some heavy backbone there. Because of the campus lineup, now it's up to 920 gigs of switching capacity. Again, layer 2 and layer 3 as expected. Power redundancy as expected. Ether lighting on the campus models, not the standard enterprise models.
Yeah.
And then you've got 3 models of aggregation. We'll hit those in just a second. And again, you're going to have the augmented reality. The other one that's in here is they refer to as the mission critical. This is a 9-port switch, which is kind of a weird number. But this has a battery backup built into it. So if you had a location where you, for whatever reason, you just didn't have a battery backup, but you know you needed some additional runtime, you could put this in. It's got that battery backup in it. So you can get some additional runtime out of this. Hence, they call it mission critical. I'm not fully certain of where I would potentially use something like this because in most cases, I'm putting a dedicated battery backup in, especially if I consider something to be mission critical. I'm sure they have some specific use cases in mind.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the idea of it being, excuse me. I like the idea of it being integrated into the system. The dual hot swappable PSUs, very important, very cool. Love that. Power backup in the actual like machine. That feels like they're
nice.
just cleaning up an area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everybody knows those power backups are huge and ugly and
correct.
Yikes.
Yeah, you want something to look pretty for the upper management.
For the upper management, this is very nice.
For when they do their tools.
They've got that high capacity aggregation that that has the Unify power backup ready, which means you need to purchase it.
Yep. Okay,
on top
so,
of it.
well done, Unify. I guess I may
Fine.
in the future, I may need to go see if they've added anything else before showtime.
I mean, if we had just pretended like they hadn't, then that would have been less fun.
Yep. I just
We
looked.
just gotta.
I was going to say, I just looked. I don't see any additions to the gateways. So nothing has changed on the gateways. But apparently they've made
Not
switching
today,
changes.
but it could be tomorrow.
Correct.
We could post this and somebody would be like, "Wait a minute,
Hey, you missed
sorry,
one.
we're giving you the information that we have in the moment."
Yeah, we may need to put some disclaimer on these and go, hey, these are the products as of the time of the recording of the show.
Yeah, when we recorded, I promise you, we're looking at, and this is a great show to reference in that
Yes.
we are looking at the webpage, not just the notes that we have. We're
Correct.
looking at the webpage as we are doing this.
Yes.
And yeah, that said
Okay.
plus. And I was like, wait a minute, if their site is wrong, I mean, that's happened before.
Yeah,
Not to be
typos.
too on the nose here, Apple, but
Somebody's plus key got stuck.
yeah, but this is pretty cool.
It is. Yeah, very cool. I'll have to look into those and see if there's anything else in those.
Yeah.
So we can shift to aggregation.
Yeah.
These are going to be switches that are all SFP.
Mm-hmm.
So they have this is a little bit older. It's standard. I would call it standard aggregation. You've got 8 SFP plus.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a maximum capacity of 160 gigs of switching capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So in some small deployments, that's great. I know I've got plenty of places where that would be more than sufficient. We've got some spots at the church where that would be more than sufficient.
Absolutely.
Then
usually
there,
higher speeds.
Yes. And it's going to be where you've got a lot of your fiber coming back to a more centralized distribution point.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, you move up to their high capacity. This would fit into the Pro Max series, even though it doesn't have Max in the name. You're going to go up to 32 ports in this particular model.
Mm-hmm.
8 of those are the, no, I'm sorry, 4. 4 of those are going to be the 110 and 25 gig capable ports. If you're, I mean, depending on your setup, if you're running one of these, that's a ton of fiber that you're hooking up. I'm kind of almost envisioning fiber to the desktop with this type of a switch.
Wow. Yeah, no, that'd be awesome.
So if you've got a media company and you're doing a lot of video, you probably want that.
Yeah, video. I mean, you probably look at Marquez Brownlee's setup. He, they do kind of stations, and they work on their different videos. Like they have different people doing different parts of the editing or the different parts of the creating the video, and they're all working off of the same files that are on a shared server. I mean, that type of setup where you're all trying to high speed interact with a lot of the same files, that would be huge.
Yep. Oh yeah. So then you move into the brand new super fancy enterprise campus aggregation.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking at that right, you've got 54 total ports. That's a lot, because they're saying they've got 48 that go up to 25 gig, which is already screaming fast.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the right hand end of the switch, you've got 6 more that can do 40 gig or 100 gig. Wow, that is insane.
Guys.
Wow.
I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, that is crazy.
That is a ton. Wow.
All right. Well,
I'm glad I don't need that for anything that I do.
I mean, right? Like, okay, how many of these things can I purchase to play with?
Man.
That's a lot.
They are, again, if you really do have like a college campus or a big corporate campus,
Mm-hmm.
something like this is going to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's just insane.
Absolutely. Pretty cool.
Absolutely. Now I'm looking ahead to this next series and go, did you add anything else on me?
Wait a minute. Hold on. We're gonna pause the show real quick and look at the page and make sure we didn't miss something. But
yeah, giving it a quick scan, it doesn't look like it's changed.
no, I don't see anything different.
I appreciate that. So
I like this next. I mean, it's not as fancy, flashy, or expensive, but this next part is kind of one of my favorites, just because like you labeled it on here as pocket knife.
The Swiss Army knife.
Find it real quick. Swiss Army knife. Thank you. Swiss Army knife series of switches. Like these are so handy to have a few different options of, because sometimes you just need the thing that's going to pull this together. Oh, we've got this one off that we need to make happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens in a lot of other industries, but like in the church, in ministry and stuff like that, you're constantly having to, somebody's moving the goalpost on you, and you just got to make sure that, okay, y'all can't see Kris, but that was hilarious. I gotta say it. He took a swig of his beer with his right hand, and then his hand went out of the frame, and then he took a swig of his beer with his left hand, and it looked like you were double fisting there for a second.
Well, it was awesome. I took that one and looked at it. I'm like, oh, there's actually enough left. I should just go ahead and just finish it off. And for whatever reason, it just naturally went into the other hand.
Perfect.
The left hand wanted to have beer as well.
Okay. Utility,
yeah. And that's kind of what this is. This is kind of a catch-all category for them. As we said, this is their Swiss Army knife series. Anywhere from 4 to 8 ports, depending on the model, up to 10 gig SFP. Some of them even have 10 gig copper uplink ports. Not a lot of these, but some of these do have PoE, PoE Plus, and PoE Plus Plus. Apparently, I can't spell
plus.
It's some, not some.
Some.
Yes, some switches can be powered by PoE Plus or by Type C, giving you a little flexibility depending on what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
In fact,
that's pretty nice.
I think, don't we have the Flex? Yeah, the Flex Mini. We've got that in a couple of spots, and I believe those were powered by Type C.
I thought we used PoE for those, but I could be wrong.
Maybe we did.
There may be one of them that we used USB-C for. But I remember the only reason I remember this is because I got a little confused about which direction that PoE was going. And I made a promise that I couldn't keep. That happens.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But they've got the Flex Mini 2.5, which I don't think that they had when we bought that.
No.
We bought like 3 of the Flex Minis.
Yeah.
Whenever we bought them. And the 2.5 is very attractive.
Yes, it is.
More speed. Feel better about it.
It is.
These are great for hiding behind some piece of furniture or like a printer.
Absolutely. Okay, so these are going to be desktop model, as far as like you can set it on the desk, Velcro underneath, or some of these you can get a wall mount and
hiding behind
and hide it behind the desk or a piece of furniture.
Yeah, I'm telling you, tiny little guys, and they're great.
Yes.
No complaints.
No. They have one specific model. A couple of these have Flex in the name, but one in particular, which is just the Flex, is weatherproof for outdoor installations.
Yeah, which, like, I don't know that I would. I mean, it says it. I feel like they've got to stick with it. I'm not putting that like on its own outside.
Well, I would probably at a minimum, it would be under an overhang.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have it fully exposed.
Yeah. I mean, I may like consider it in a soffit or something like that. I'm not
Yes.
really like, I'm trying to think of a situation where I'd be like, yeah, I feel good about this.
Yep.
But I mean, you and I both know, like I've repaired or not repaired. I have serviced projectors that have been hit by water balloons. So I have trust issues.
Yes. 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 Oh, try not to think about that.
It said it has water damage. Oh, that's probably the water balloon that we threw at it. Are you kidding me?
Okay, you are getting the full charge for replacement.
I don't know what to say to you right now.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. I remember that. Thank you, Ranch.
The migraine is so intense.
So, and then the one other that's in here, and then we'll point out a couple of these, is they have an industrial model. Can handle up to 144 degrees if you're running. Yeah, if you're running basically kind of, I'm going to call it half-ish, 250 watts of the PoE capability. If you need to run the maximum 450 watts, then it can handle up to 122 degrees. So if you've got a scenario like what we do, we have some little huts at the base of our towers where we have wireless bridge. We're currently using some Cisco series. Hot. Yes, they do. Yeah. Yes. So we've got some Cisco series industrial switches. These would be great for that. It may not have direct sunlight, but that little hut gets hot. You do put an exhaust fan to try to help it out. But these would hold up really, really well in those types of environments, not just because of heat, but also they can handle some of the dirtiness of being exposed in some ways to the outside environment.
Okay, I'm just going to ask it because this feels like an oversight to me. I feel like this was done by either a marketing department or I don't know, somebody that wasn't thinking about what they're actually trying to accomplish here. Why is everything with Unify white except for the piece of equipment that they're like, hey, it can be in like direct sunlight and up to really like high temperatures. We're going to make it black.
Insert joke here.
I don't like you, but guys.
I don't get it because black absorbs all light. So therefore it's going to get hotter faster than white that reflects all light.
Absolutely. This is, elementary science. Like let's just avoid I know it was super tempting because it says we're going to call it industrial. It's industrial and we want it to, look industrial and that's black. And you're like, stop it.
Yeah. I'm aging myself, but when I hear industrial, I think 9 Inch Nails.
Well, there you go.
Industrial metal, industrial just kind of still connects.
That's hilarious.
So,
well, there you go.
I'm going for beer number 2, and then we'll hit a couple of these models.
I love it.
Old Faithful, got some Ginness.
You got to. I will say, so pleased with that St. Arnold. Good. I feel like I got to try another one of the. We're not doing that one.
Another Oktoberfest.
Yeah, I just pulled out that athletic one again, and I got to tell you, that is so disappointing.
You won't make that mistake again.
I'm gonna do East Texas because we're in East Texas.
Why not?
Oh wow, that did not land on my computer, but I got the full frat party suds open on that one.
There you go. Cheers again.
Cheers. That's not bad.
Man, that's always good. Thank you, Arthur Ginness.
I'm gonna say this one's a little bit nuttier.
Okay.
Not a bad taste. Just, you know what I mean? Kind of gets you like in the back right of the tongue.
Yeah. I can't think of the name of the brew company, but they make a brown nut ale that's got a little bit of that nuttiness.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't remember the name either.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So
that industrial also had POE plus plus. I don't know if we said that or not.
Yes.
The only other one on the Swiss Army knife that has the POE plus plus is the Pro POE or Pro 8 POE.
Yes, because their enterprise that's listed here was prior to the campus refresh.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
they
expect
haven't done it yet.
No, I don't expect them to release an 8-port and call it campus.
No, but I do I wouldn't be surprised if they came back and upgraded that Enterprise 8 POE with plus plus.
Correct.
And it'll probably be 240 instead of 120 or something like that. Or I guess the 202, probably not 240.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What's surprising to me is that they still call out I guess technically that XG is there, but they do still have a handful of their Gen 1 switches here.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the original Gen 1 8-port with 60 watts of PoE is very much a desktop model. And then you've got the updated 8-port. I've got this on my desk. We've got a couple of these at the church. Ups the wattage to 150, but introduced SFP ports, which the other 8-port did not have. And then the original XG series, which was pre-enterprise, is PoE as well. So what I think is interesting in here is the Flex utility.
Okay. So
if we were to go away from Cisco and to go to Ubiquiti, this is something that we would consider in a couple of locations, because this gives you an enclosure that you can use outdoors, that you could bring in one of the Flex switches to protect it and help it with hold up to the environment. So like if we weren't going to do the industrial, we could probably put this in place, and we would probably have to kick up some of our venting. It may actually have to consider an actual AC if we went this way. But this has a lot of interesting capabilities.
Let me see. I'm looking at the specs real quick on that Flex. I mean, it says it can go up to 131 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Well, at 46, it can go up to 131. It can go up to 149 at 25 watts. So, again, I would say it's kind of funny that it's saying that if you're at 46, I think it is going to be hotter in itself. These are fanless.
Correct.
This is a very simple switch. So I think it's going to bring some heat itself. So I don't know if they're counting that, if they're saying this is 131. It says ambient operating temperature, so they're not pointing the thermometer at the switch. They're pointing it at around the switch to get these temperatures. So it'll definitely be hotter than 131 degrees.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I do appreciate that they've got ambient. Have you seen this? They've actually got on their thing, they've got ambient operating humidity, which here in East Texas, it's no, that's a real thing.
Yeah, it is.
And it's 5 to 95% non-condensing. So I don't know how you're getting 95% at 131 degrees and non-condensing, but sure, why not?
Well, they gotta cover their bases somehow.
Yeah, that's a thing right there. Okay. Important to know. These are the things that you like. Somebody's like, "Oh, well, we'll just do this," and you're like, "Did you think about heat?"
Yep. So again, that flex utility, just so people know, that is the enclosure. That is not a specific model, but you can put one of the Flex series switches.
Sorry, I was looking at the Flex series. Yeah, you're talking about the enclosure. I got it. Sorry.
Yep. So just be clear on that. And then they've got, and I believe this one was reasonably affordable. They have a small desktop. That's the 16 port with PoE. If you for whatever reason, if you had to put that mini at a desk, okay. I don't know. I feel like 16 ports for a desktop switch is a little overkill on the number of ports. But hey, to each their own. But you could pick that up for $200, which is not bad for a 16 port switch with PoE. That is a small form factor.
I see the Flex utility now. That's great.
Yep.
If you've got that, you're not going to actually get the Flex utility or the Flex, because the Flex would be fine by itself, and the Flex utility is a actual
different enclosure. But you could put like the Flex Mini, the Flex Mini 2.5, the Flex 10 gig, because I feel like that. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that piece that sticks out on the end of just the Flex, I don't think that comes. Half of it comes off, obviously, so you can plug in the ports. But that back half, I think that's affixed to the unit, so you can't effectively pop that off completely.
But they do have the Flex as what you like. If you buy the Flex utility, like if you go to the store and look at the Flex utility, it actually has the Flex and a surge protector as like recommended buys with it. So I don't think they would do that if they didn't have a way of fixing that inside of it, which it's actually got cutouts for those two things.
Yes.
Pretty ingenious.
Yep. Yeah, definitely well planned.
Sorry, go ahead. I have derailed us.
No, that's okay. And then they have, new to me, although it doesn't have specifically its own section call out like the others, but they have their Ultra line of switches. You see that? And these are, again, these are small form factor. So I'm waiting for those to see if we get any 16, 24, or 48 port Ultra series. And then does that exceed the Pro Max, but not quite the Enterprise? Or is Ultra somehow going to be greater than Enterprise? We'll see where they go with that.
I don't think so. I mean, it's funny because the Ultra stuff that I've seen, or that I see on their site, that I can see on their site, almost seems like prosumer, which is a weird place to be. Like, I don't know why you would call that Ultra, but again, I'm not the guy.
Nope, we're not the marketing department.
So they've got Ultra 60 watt, Ultra 210 watt. And these are all 8 ports.
Yep. So obviously when they call it the wattage, that's the total PoE budget available on it. So just the basic Ultra, no PoE, and then the others give you 210 watts, of PoE.
I mean, I just do want to say like an 8 watt with 210 is significant. That's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you're going to be pushing PoE plus on that particular model.
Actually, it's only got one port with plus. I'm looking now at the thing. It's got 7 with plus, and then only one port with plus, which is
surprising.
Oh, and it's the input. Interesting.
So you can.
So it's saying it's plus. You can.
There you go. I see.
That's tricky. I did not see that coming. Yeah. No. Okay. Because it has a power option, like how do I say that? You can power it not over PoE, or you can use the one port that has PoE plus and power it from a PoE++ switch.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you would have to
what they
because
did
it's still able to use 210
Correct.
over the other 7 ports. That's insane. Okay.
So I think that's it for that series, unless you see any others that stand out to you.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just doing the math in my head. I don't know how you call those PoE plus when there should be 210. That's 30 that's 30 watts a piece, right?
Yeah, 30 watts PoE plus. That's 210.
Okay. Wow, okay. I just was trying to figure that out in my head. And there's only 202 watts available if you use the included power adapter.
Yes.
So it is to your advantage that you use plus plus and do this over the
correct
8th port.
Correct.
Okay. I'm looking at a lot of numbers right now. My brain is kind of swimming.
That's why I just tried to hit some of the key ones in the show note. This is one of those where you can totally get lost in all the specs, depending on how deep you want to go.
Yeah, you find something like that, and you just start. Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
This is very uninteresting to probably everyone else. And honestly, Kris, I don't know if you're going to be interested in this, but I'm loving these patch cables with the
bendable ends.
The bendable ends, like it's such a it's so weird what becomes very important to you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're servicing things like this, and you're just so exhausted every time you see, a network, an RJ45 end with a cable whose sleeve is pulling out of it, and the copper's just hanging on by its teeth.
Yeah. I've seen a few of those.
These are it's sexy. I'm going to say it. That's sexy. That is that's a different level.
Okay.
I understand that they're totally robbing you. Like a 1 foot patch cable is $2. That's not bad. But some of these I'm sure are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, it's got a 3 meter at $4. That's not bad either. Anyway, I'm just saying, you can make these for super cheap yourself.
Yep.
But they're not going to have that end on it.
No, it's not.
And if you've ever been doing this, I think that end is the way that's got support.
Yep.
Is just really nice.
Absolutely.
What a dumb thing to get excited about. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I went down the rabbit hole on related add-ons, and I saw rack mount OCD panel, and I'm like, what?
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, those are their blanks for the OCD among us who don't want it to be an open rack unit. 1U and 2U, and they even have vented. Or they have the 1U with the black brush material where your cables could pass through.
Hold on, let me find it real quick.
So you'd actually have to be in the store to see it.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you talking about?
And then if you go to switching and then related add-ons, in that second column, the rack mount OCD panel for the anal retentive among us.
I'm not even going to call it anal retentive because I don't consider myself that. I mean, maybe I am, but it's just, you just get tired of seeing the rat's nest. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I look under certain installations that I've done, like under the desk of certain installations that I've done, and just be like, I can't deal with this. Like it's so bad. I do not have time to fix that right now. But I really like those brush panels.
Yeah,
the
the vented is intriguing because it makes me wonder if you could put a fan behind those and either
Sure.
exhaust out or use those for fresh air coming in.
I mean, you can definitely, especially that 2U vented panel, like you could definitely put there are all kinds of we did this with that rack setup in the fishbowl, where we put
those fans.
We didn't have these vented panels, so we just had them sitting on top of the thing, but they were kind of wedged in because if you get like a computer fan and you sorry, this is for you who have just figured out how to make something work, and just zip tie it to the side of a rack, like, or I think they were actually zip tied. It was the screw hole of the mounting hole of the fan, and it was going actually into the rack, like
where the screw
where the screw would go in the 19-inch rack, like with a zip tie. Like I mean, I just ugly as sin. But let me tell you what, and that wasn't even a black magic fix. That was for a piece of the
video conferencing,
gear that was in there. Like it was just it was so hot. Anyway. Yeah, but if you put some fans behind this, you could probably bi-direction it. You could put get one of these rack mount OCD panels with the vents and put it above and one below, and then you could point the fans in opposite directions, and I feel like you'd get some serious movement there.
Airflow, absolutely.
Air in, air out, man. It's not quite as important as it is in an engine, but it is very important with gear.
Oh yeah.
Just, those heat sinks only do so much if you don't have airflow. If there's not something taking the flow or the heat away.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
I think that wraps up switches. Again, unless there was something else in that utility series that drew your attention.
No, I mean, like I said, the utility series really, like I get super interested in that. I also get super interested in these. I should not have clicked on that related add-ons button, because now I'm just like, oh,
yeah. I'm trying to avoid. That's a whole nother show.
Not good.
one little side note. Now that I'm actually in the store, the Enterprise campus switches are not available until December.
Yeah, sorry. And I saw that when we were talking about them. I thought I said it, but I probably didn't.
They are, well, compared to others, they're cheap, but at the same time, that's expensive. 24 port is $2,400. 48 port is $39.99. Wow.
Yeah, that's a $4,000 switch. I just want to say PoE +++ again. I'm just going to say it out loud.
And if it was Cisco, you'll be paying $20,000 plus.
You would be paying $20,000, and you would be paying monthly.
Yes. Oh, that could segue me into one last thing. I have I'm going to get on my soapbox.
Soapbox, here it comes.
Yeah, I'm frustrated with Cisco. So I'm a big Meraki fan. They bought them. Great acquisition by Cisco. You get that kind of that mid-range enterprise, all managed in the cloud. Pre-config it before it ever shows up. The person who receives it at that location, they don't have to know technology. They just need to know where to install it in the rack and where to plug in the cables. That's it. Anybody can do
I
it.
mean, you need that tool. I'm just saying the one that holds the switch up for you that we talked about 2 shows ago.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah,
go ahead.
you do want that if you're by yourself. So great product line. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody needs a full-blown Cisco Catalyst switch. A lot of us, some do, but most of us, we don't need all those bells and whistles. We're going to use probably 15 to maybe 25% of what the switch is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
So Meraki was a beautiful fit.
Yeah.
So Cisco, in their infinite wisdom, decided to blow up another product line. They are replacing actual Meraki series switches with their switches. So what they're achieving is SKU consolidation. So I get that. I get the idea behind it. I get the concept behind it. In theory, what we should see is as they produce fewer models, they're going to produce more of the others, which should drive prices down. But we're not there yet. So
these new ones are more expensive.
Yes.
Because they say Cisco.
Because they say Cisco. It's still manageable. It's still manageable in the Meraki dashboard. So you still have all that capability.
That's not what. Oh my gosh.
And on top, not only is the hardware more expensive, but the cloud license to manage it is more expensive. In fact, in most of the series that we've been looking at, they doubled the price for the cloud license to manage it, which is insane. And on the layer 3 switches that we were looking at, 24 port, those are roughly $2,500 more per switch. And here's the kicker. We were looking at, with Meraki, a all SFP switch, 16 ports, SFP plus, $7,200. That's a lot of money for a switch, but there's a ton of capability there. The new Cisco equivalent is $17,000. And it's just like, okay, you've officially priced me out of that switch. I can maybe figure out the layer 3 switches at $2,500 roughly a piece, but at 10 grand per additional, I'm out. So,
but they're not making the Meraki ones anymore. Is
no,
saying?
Everything that I'm hearing from the company that we work with, they are essentially phasing out the Meraki line, replacing it with the Cisco line, but it will essentially run the Meraki software to talk to the Meraki dashboard and for all of that. And what you could always do later on is you could actually say, hey, you know what? I'm ready to go beyond what Meraki can do, and I can pay an upgrade license. I can upgrade from the Meraki OS to the actual Cisco iOS and get a ton of extra features, which is great. But on my side, I don't need all that. Meraki was perfect, and now you're going to charge me an arm and a leg.
What kind of features are we talking about here that jumps up between Meraki OS and Cisco?
It's going to get into a lot of the more complex security. When you get into layer 3, when you want to do more than just basic RIP for routing, you're going to get into some of their proprietary EIGRP, I believe, is what it is there. You're going to get into more complexity around port security, to where you're going to be able to determine only this specific device can access this one port. So I could just set it up to where nothing can use this port because there's nothing whitelisted to allow that. Most of us just need to say, this is an access port. This is its VLAN. If it's a phone, it goes over here, and I need some PoE, and it's either an access port or a trunk port, and I don't care about anything else. So I'm a little frustrated with them. I'm sure eventually, once they get through this process, they're going to be producing fewer product lines, which in theory should make the remaining product lines cheaper, but we will have to wait and see.
I don't think half the price cheaper. Like that's the thing
no.
is I think that again, this is like there is no shade being thrown on Cisco in terms of like what they're producing for the like highest end security, like the highest end management, like at that level. Like I absolutely but it's just like it's unachievable for so many people.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Well,
so that's something new. So when
it seems like they're just shooting themselves in the foot here. Like you had an opportunity here to have. It's not even like you're not even downgrading, if that makes sense. You're having a product at a price point, and you're not having to attach your premium name to it. Like,
correct.
Why would you do that?
Correct.
But because like I'm saying, what I was saying earlier is that by saying that they're not going to have half the price, or it's not going to come down to half the price, is just the idea that it, because it has Cisco on it, like it's got to be this. And you bought something like Meraki where you could make it not as robust, still quality, still all of the things that you want, but and still the I guess way of doing it that you want, but just not quite the full blown. I'm trying hard not to say ridiculousness, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
That's rough, dude. I'm sorry.
Yep. Yeah, and they're not just doing that on the switch side. They're doing that also on the access point side of things. And I could see eventually they'll do it on the firewall product lines as well. So they're going to open things up for someone like a Fortinet who can come in and give you some of those capabilities that Meraki had, keep it cloud managed, but keep the cost down in comparison to Cisco. And who knows, it may open more things up for Ubiquity. I could totally see people going, I'm not going to pay the Cisco tax just to have what we're calling a Meraki equipment when it's really not. I could see some small businesses to medium possibly going, Fortinet is enough, or the Unify product is enough if I buy their enterprise series. Whereas the upper end of medium to enterprise, they're going to stay with Cisco, Juniper, whoever, and they make so much money they don't have to worry about the real tax involved with all the licensing.
There's a great social media plug. If you have a use case that you're thinking like I really need this, I'd love to talk to you about whether or not you actually need everything that you're thinking that you need. Like that feels like you're buying an overpriced product, probably for what you actually need.
Yeah.
And let's talk about how you could spend way less. And not for my good. Like I'm not getting any money from that. Like just let's talk about how you could maybe do what you're asking at a lower price point. It just doesn't say Cisco on it.
Yep. Absolutely. So that's kind of an update in Cisco world. So I'll get off my soapbox now.
Wow, that's a bummer.
Yeah, especially when you budgeted based on the Meraki line, and then you get here and you just started your fiscal year on October 1, and you're going, oh, we don't have enough money.
Well, and I mean, we talked about this at the beginning, like the like you've got to be so careful about what you build your hardware system on, because like something like this happens and all of a sudden you're like Ubiquity goes out of business. I am seriously trying to figure out
where to go next.
How do I like I've got you got to start changing things again. You've got to figure this out. We actually need anyway. It's a lot.
It is.
Be careful, but
all right. Well, we'll shift to a more positive note. We have a boost. Haven't had one for a while. Exactly. It's Jason again.
Yeah, it's Jason. Nobody else.
He sent us a row of sticks, also known as 1,111 sats. So you can visualize that in your head, Jason. A row of sticks. Yes. With a note that says, for the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster type reaction to the bitters. So if you know Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you'll get that reference. Yeah, I may need to put a link to a YouTube video in the show notes to explain Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster to those who may not know what we're talking about.
I think that's a great idea. If you can superimpose, you can go ahead and superimpose your face on that would be great.
Yeah, put me on Most Def. There you go. For those that have seen the movie.
Yep.
So, okay, I think that wraps up the show. Unless you've got anything else.
Good to talk to you. No, I'm good.
Good to talk to you as well. Yeah, it was good. We're keeping a cadence here. This is great. We'll try to keep releasing these on expected patterns for everybody. I know people kind of get used to your release schedule. Not that people are necessarily planning their lives around our show, but I know there are bigger shows out there that people do actually know, hey, this is coming out on this day at this time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be available.
Yeah.
So
we need to be regular for our own stuff.
Absolutely. So next week we need to pull together the in between for us and grab a beer and talk about the next show.
Love it. It's going to be great.
Absolutely.
Thanks, brother.
Yep. Enjoyed it. See you, everybody.
India, Tango, Mike, stand by, 33, 33, 33, Rubblizer out.